Hello there, you're watching Nightline with me, Sabrina Zainal. News making the headlines. Government to review criminal penalties relating to drug abuse. And KKD examining need to license social media platforms. Good morning. We begin with this story. Malaysia is set to review its criminal penalties for drug abuse offences by taking a treatment-based or rehabilitation-based approach. According to Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Datuk Seri Azalina Othman Said, the need to review such approach is to be in line with international norms. Azalina said this after chairing a discussion with representatives from various ministries and NGOs on the matter on Thursday. The minister added that although many local agencies have worked hard to contain the scourge of drug abuse in Malaysia, the issue has still not been resolved. Instead, Azalina said it has led to other systemic issues such as overcrowding in prisons and an overburdened criminal justice system. She stated the government is committed to protecting high-risk groups, including the poor and youth, that are especially susceptible to the influence of drug use. Azalina added that her deputy, Ramkarpal Singh, will conduct further stakeholder engagement sessions on the review. Meanwhile, a delegation from the Philippines has expressed their admiration for Malaysia's swift action in enforcing the Abolition of Mandatory Death Penalty Act. The Republic's former president, Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, conveyed the matter when she paid a courtesy call on Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim in the Parliament building on Thursday. Azalina, who was also present during the meeting that lasted about 30 minutes, both Anwar and Arroyo, who is now the Philippines House of Representatives Deputy Speaker, had discussed several issues, including the abolition of mandatory death penalty in Malaysia.
Mereka kagum dengan kejayaan Malaysia, mereka kagum dengan percepatan perubahan dasar dibuat dan semuanya kerana Yang Amat Berhormat melihat ini sebagai satu perkara yang perlu diubah dan Kerajaan Perpaduan Madani telah berjaya melakukan.
Last April, the Dewan Rakyat passed the act to replace the mandatory death penalty and life imprisonment. Under the new act, the court has the discretion to impose the death penalty or imprisonment for a period of not exceeding 40 years, with whipping of not less than 12 strokes. The Communications and Digital Ministry is examining the need to license large platform providers such as Google, Meta and TikTok that generate revenue through content from local media organizations. Its Minister, Fahmi Fadzil, said discussions with the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission, MCMC, and the platforms concerned had been carried out to fine-tune the matter, which aims to provide returns to the country's media industry.
Kerana kita lihat banyak daripada konten kita yang dihasilkan oleh organisasi media di Malaysia dimanfaatkan oleh platform-platform ini dalam media sosial mereka, tapi pulangan kepada media kita sangat kurang. Jadi saya akan terus mendampingi isu ini, meneliti isu ini untuk membantu terutama rakan-rakan media.
Fahmi said this to reporters after presenting contributions to media practitioner Irwan Budi Anwar, who is facing several health issues through the Kasih Hawana 2023 program in Kuching, Sarawak on Thursday. He added such licensing and registration measures must be considered to ensure the local media industry ecosystem can be sustained and continue to thrive. In August, Fahmi in a social media post said that the initiative to engage with the social media platforms was expected to help the media industry generate additional income. Meanwhile, Media Prima Berhad Group Managing Director Rafiq Razali said the proposal to license large platform providers should be implemented to ensure the competitiveness of the local media industry.
This is especially so for news media, as the industry works very hard to ensure that the rakyat receives quality news at the right time as well. And I think, if news media is not well funded, this could lead towards the quality of journalism in Malaysia to absolutely reduce. And this is not a Malaysian problem, it is also a global problem.
According to Rafiq, several countries such as Canada and Australia have already taken proactive steps to ensure fair revenue distribution for local companies and international digital platforms. The government has agreed in principle to enact a Freedom of Information Act. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said that the act will create clear parameters and guidelines to grant members of the public access to obtain information from the government and other public agencies. In a post on his Facebook account, Anwar said that the decision was made by the Special Cabinet Committee on National Governance, JKKTN, previously known as the Special Cabinet Committee on Anti-Corruption, JKKMAR, in a meeting which he chaired on Thursday. He added that the meeting also discussed the country's commitment to continuously strengthen governance in the administrative system, specifically through two main shifts, namely institutional framework governance and anti-corruption-related legislation. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister's office, PMO, in a statement said, in line with the meeting's decision regarding the Freedom of Information Act, the Official Secrets Act, OSA, will also be amended accordingly. The PMO added that this step was taken to ensure that the delivery of public services can be improved and to encourage the involvement of the people in the process of national policy formation.
This week on Money Matters, the Environmental Social Governance ESG Framework, what trends are seen in ESG investing, how to communicate ESG efforts to gain consumer trust and loyalty, what's the ESG impact on a company's financial performance. Join us with ESG Association President Chia Kok Hung this Saturday at 5 p.m. on TV3 and live HD stream on Tonton.
The Public Accounts Committee, PAC, will summon former Transport Minister Wee Ka Siong next Thursday for its fourth proceedings into the management of the COVID-19 pandemic, given that his name was mentioned in previous proceedings. The proceedings were related to expired vaccines, unused ventilators, and excess of personal protection equipment, PPE, reported in the 2021 Auditor General's report. Speaking to the media in Parliament on Thursday, PAC Chairman Datuk Mas Ermiati Samsudin said former Health Ministry Secretary General Dr. Chen Chow Min will also be called for next Thursday's proceedings.
PAC memerlukan keterangan serta penjelasan daripada Yang Berhormat Datuk Seri Dr. Wee memandangkan nama beliau disebut dalam prosiding sebelum ini, tetapi saya tidak boleh mendedahkan atas apa sebab memandangkan prosiding PAC tertakluk kepada Peraturan Mesyuarat 85, Peraturan Mesyuarat Dewan Rakyat.
Mas Ermiati was speaking after PAC's third proceedings with testimony provided by Health Ministry Deputy Secretary General for Finance, Dr. Nur Azman Ayub, Pharmaniaga Chairman Izzadin Daud, and Pharmaniaga Executive Committee Chairman Ahmad Shahridzwan Sharif. The first PAC proceedings regarding the COVID-19 pandemic management was conducted on June 15th and the second one on August 22nd. Moving on, the preliminary report on the fatal plane crash near Bandar El Mina in Shah Alam, Selangor last month will be released on Friday. Transport Minister Anthony Loke, who confirmed this on Thursday, said the report will be uploaded on the ministry's website at 10 a.m. Loke said that all the facts with regards to the Beechcraft Model 390 Premier 1 business jet crash will be in the report. However, he declined to reveal more details on the matter. The minister previously said that the report will be out before Malaysia Day on September 16th to meet the deadline for the report, which was required to be released within 30 days of the air crash. On August 17th, the six-seater aircraft crashed onto the Guthrie Corridor Expressway near the Elmina township before landing at Subang Airport from Langkawi. The incident killed all 8 people on board, including 2 flight crew, as well as 2 motorists on the highway. Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah and Raja Permaisuri Agong Tunku Azizah Aminah Maimunah Iskandaria expressed their happiness after having the opportunity to fulfill their dream to get closer to the people of Sabah and Sarawak through the Kembara Kenali Borneo Tour program. The King and Queen also extended their highest appreciation to the government led by Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim and the state governments of Sabah and Sarawak for all the assistance in making the program a success. In a statement, Comptroller of the Istana Negara Royal Household, Major General Datuk Zahari Muhammad Arifin, said the King and Queen were deeply touched by the love and support shown by the people who tirelessly lined up by the roadsides to greet them. Al-Sultan Abdullah and Tunku Azizah also expressed their deepest gratitude to the people of Sabah and Sarawak for the tremendous reception given to the royal family. The Yang di-Pertuan Agong and Raja Permaisuri Agong added that all experiences in both states were etched in the hearts of the entire royal family as sweet memories that will never be forgotten. Furthermore, the King and Queen also expressed their joy because the Kembara Kenali Borneo program had provided an opportunity to strengthen the bonds between Peninsular Malaysia, Sabah and Sarawak, and to realize the spirit of the ruler and the people are inseparable. The 11-day tour, which began on September 3rd in Tawau, Sabah, ended in Teluk Melano, Sematan, Sarawak on Tuesday. Up to 20,000 people feared dead in Libya. This and more from the Foreign Front after this breather. Continues. The death toll from the devastating floods that struck eastern Libya could reach over 20,000 in the city of Derna alone. Derna Mayor Abdul Menam Al-Gaiti on Thursday said this was based on estimates of those living in areas that were swept away. And if the figure is confirmed, it would mean that around a fifth of the city's population has been killed. He added a precise tally is incredibly difficult given the level of devastation and limited infrastructure in the area, with bodies still washing up on the shore and burials being held in mass graves. A deluge of rainfall from Mediterranean storm Daniel caused 2 dams to collapse last week, sending waves more than 6 meters high sweeping through the port city in the country's east. The catastrophic floods have left more than 30,000 people homeless, with 10,000 people remained missing as rescue workers and relatives continue to search for survivors. Meanwhile, back home, the Foreign Ministry confirmed that there have been no reports of Malaysians affected by the floods in the eastern region of Libya as of Thursday. In a statement, the ministry said the 2 Malaysians who are residing in Marsa El Brega have been successfully contacted and were confirmed to be safe. The ministry also said that it was also closely monitoring the post-Typhoon Daniel developments, adding that Malaysia extended its deepest sympathies and condolences to those affected by the typhoon. In light of the temporary closure of the Malaysian embassy in Libya since 2014, Malaysians in Libya seeking guidance have been advised to contact the Malaysian embassy in Cairo. A huge fire in Bangladesh has destroyed several hundred shops at a market in capital Dhaka as the blaze swept through the area in the early hours of Thursday before stores opened. Officials said it took 6 hours for military forces and firefighters to contain the blaze, which spread quickly in the Muhammadpur market due to the large amount of flammable items such as cooking oil and plastics. However, there were no casualties in the fire, which was likely caused by an electric short circuit. Fires are common in densely populated Dhaka, which has seen a building boom in recent years, often without proper safety measures such as faulty gas cylinders, air conditioners, and bad electrical wiring. In April, a fire in a shopping complex in Dhaka injured several firefighters and burned down some 5,000 stores. Badminton, the 2023 Hong Kong Open. National shuttler Li Zijia fell early yet again, this time in the hands of a qualifier, Li Jiahao of Taiwan, in the second round on Thursday. While Zijia had avoided meeting Denmark's top seed, Victor Axelsen, he failed to get the better of Taiwan's Li Jiahao in the second round as he lost 19-21, 21-17, 22-20, despite holding an 11-7 advantage in the rubber game. Jiahao, who slew world number 1 Axelsen 21-16, 21-10 on Wednesday, proved once again he was no pushover with his conquest of Zijia. The latest early elimination meant that Zijia has now failed to get past the last 16 stage for the 11th time out of the 14 World Tour starts thus far. With Zijia out, Malaysian fans will now pin their hopes on Ng Zainal to carry the nation's challenge in the Hong Kong Open. Zainal made it to the quarterfinals after scoring a convincing 21-12, 21-11 win over Japan's Kanta Tsuneyama. In the women's doubles, Perlitan and Tina were too formidable for fellow Malaysians Anna Chong Teo Mei Zing, clinching a commanding 21-7, 21-10 win. Perlitina faced a tougher challenge next against Thailand's Jongkolpan Kitikarakul Rawinda Prajongjai, but they should start as favorites due to their superior 4-0 head-to-head record. Turning to tennis, the 2023 San Diego Open. Second-seeded Caroline Garcia advanced to her 9th quarterfinal of the season after moving past Sloane Stephens in 3 sets. Garcia took the first set 6-3. Stephens bounced back to claim the second set 6-3. She, however, failed to keep her momentum as Garcia regained her touch and took the decider 6-1. Garcia will face Danielle Collins next in the quarterfinals. Earlier, Anastasia Potapova collected the 6th top 10 win of her career with a 6-4, 7-6 victory over the number 1 seed, Ons Jabeur, in the second round. Potapova took 1 hour and 46 minutes to upset the world number 7 and clinch a spot in the quarterfinals. The Russian will meet 2020 Australian Open champion Sofia Kenin in the next round. When we return, trio arrested after high-speed car chase. Don't go away. Malaysia has always taken a firm stance against forced labor. But despite having strict laws with heavy fines and long prison sentences as a deterrent, forced labor remains an issue in Malaysia. Now the government is putting in place a set of guidelines in its latest effort to stem the crime and protect the basic rights of workers. FMT's Natasha Bust reports.
Errant bosses beware. The government has reiterated its stance against forced labor and will soon issue new guidelines aimed at putting an end to the heinous practice. On Thursday, Human Resources Minister V. Sivakumar announced that the government is establishing guidelines aimed at eradicating forced labor in the workplace. Spearheaded by the Department of Labor, this initiative is part of the National Action Plan on Forced Labor, which focuses on prevention, victim protection, prosecution, and partnership.
The guideline is developed as a guideline for all organizations to understand the definition of forced labor, to know the indicator of forced labor in detail, to know the laws and regulations relating to the forced labor indicators, and to take measures specified in the guideline in preventing forced labor in workplace.
Vasant Santiago, a consultant from the North-South Initiative, commended the new guidelines for strengthening enforcement.
Yes, obviously there are positive improvements, like they have brought in MAPO, anti-trafficking, and they are implementing, they are emphasizing on these, categories like forced labor and harassments. And I've also working on a case which is very intense, and the progress has been there, the support has been there from the government as well.
Tom Shepherd, a political counsellor at the British High Commission, had a similar view. He said the guidelines provided much-needed clarity on what constitutes forced labor.
I think it's great to have the guidelines written in a way that everyone can understand. I think one of the problems that the Minister highlighted today around awareness is really key. So anything that gets the information out there for businesses, people, workers, the media to understand what we mean by forced labour has got to be a good thing.
At the launch of the guideline, Sivakumar said his ministry has opened 1,321 investigation papers through the Labour Department against 645 employers. At the same time, 128 employers have also been fined a total of 242,000 ringgit, while 272 others have been issued compound notices totaling 2.17 million ringgit. Natasha Bust, FMT for Nightline.
Solar panels have been around for decades, but relatively few households install them. For many, the costs seem to outweigh the benefits. This is something the government intends to change. FMT's Danish Raja Reza reports.
Sunshine. This is something Malaysia has in abundance. We enjoy around 2,000 hours of sunshine a year. It's no surprise that energy experts have talked about Malaysia's solar energy potential for years. And while solar technology has been around for years, it hasn't quite caught on. Relatively few households have embraced the idea of installing solar panels, and a key reason for this is cost. A basic solar panel system can cost over 15,000 ringgit, but this could all change with the National Energy Transition Roadmap, or NETR. Economy Minister Rafizi Ramli says the government is looking at the issue differently. Instead of expecting households to pay for expensive solar panels, the government intends to give homeowners the option to lease out their rooftops. Homeowners can earn an income while reducing electricity bills. The net result is extra cash for households. The idea is part of a government's long-term vision to have solar panels atop homes, mosques, halls, and factories. The government is allocating 80 million ringgit to install solar panels on the rooftops of government buildings to kickstart the project. Center for Market Education Fellow Counsel Tan says the promise of the benefits touted by Rafizi could help promote the adoption of renewable energy, especially for homeowners and business owners. Now, this all sounds well and good, but is it a feasible undertaking for property developers? Tan says property developers may enjoy incentives and tax benefits under the NETR. Additionally, including solar panels in the houses they develop will enhance the marketability of the properties. There are benefits for the country too.
These projects will be able to attract investors. Among all renewable energy sources, solar energy stands out as the most promising.
Tan says that from the perspective of homeowners, Analysis shows that they are willing to fork out 6.47% more for eco-friendly housing and 2.41% more for proper maintenance of environmentally friendly facilities. Real Estate and Housing Developers Association President N.K. Tong said developers could also leverage solar rooftop leasing to generate green energy for commercial spaces. But the ultimate beneficiaries would be the homeowners, who will be able to rent their rooftops for the solar panels. Danish Rajareza, FMT for Nightline.
In Selangor, police arrested one local man and 2 foreign women after a 40-minute car chase early Thursday morning. Klang Utara Police Chief ACP S. Vijaya Rao said following the chase, authorities also seized drugs worth 4,000 ringgit. In a statement, Vijaya Rao said members of the Serdang Police Mobile Patrol Vehicle Unit, while patrolling in Puchong, spotted the trio acting suspiciously in a car and directed the driver to stop. However, the car accelerated rapidly, which led to a high-speed chase from the Damansara-Puchong Highway towards the Federal Highway and eventually onto Jalan Meru before the suspect's vehicle veered off and collided with a road divider. During checks, the policemen found a sling bag which contained 3 packets of shabu, 3 packets of ketamine, and 5 packets of ecstasy. All 3 suspects tested positive for drugs and have been remanded for 5 days until September 18th to assist investigations under the Dangerous Drugs Act. In Kelantan, a shipping company engineer was charged at the Tanah Merah Magistrates Court on Thursday with the murder of a civil servant in Machang 2 weeks ago. 46-year-old Harun Nerasat Ibrahim only nodded after the charge was read out to him before Magistrate Nik Habri Muhammad with no plea recorded. According to the charge, the accused allegedly murdered Tuan Muhammad Saleh Tuan Ibrahim, aged 51, at a restaurant on September 3rd. During the incident, the victim succumbed to severe injuries while heading to the Machang hospital. The charge under the Penal Code provides the death sentence or imprisonment of between 30 and 40 years upon conviction. The court set November 13th for mention, pending the chemistry report. We wrap up Nightline this time around. Let's take a look as models with disabilities took to the runway at New York Fashion Week on Wednesday, wearing clothing designed to meet their needs. The fashion show was staged by the Runway of Dreams Foundation, a public charity that works with retailers to adapt clothing to all consumers' needs and give people with disabilities access to fashion. With that, I'm Sabrina Zainal. Thank you for watching and have a great week ahead.